In the busiest part of the city stood a shining glass tower called Western Heights. People walked through its revolving doors every day in expensive suits, polished shoes, and serious faces. They moved quickly, spoke loudly on phones, and acted as though every second of their time was worth gold. But every morning, before most of them arrived, one person was already there. Her name was Maria. Maria was the cleaner. She was quiet, always respectful, and never in anyone's way. She wore simple clothes, tied her hair back neatly, and pushed her cleaning cart from one floor to another with the same calm expression every day. She greeted everyone with a soft smile. Most people barely noticed her. Some nodded, some ignored her, and some, like Ethan Cole, treated her like she didn't belong there at all. Ethan was one of the company's rising stars. At just 32, he had the title, the salary, the tailored suits, and the confidence that made people either admire him or fear him. He believed success meant power, and power meant never looking down, especially not at someone holding a mop. One Monday morning, Ethan stormed into the lobby, frustrated after a rough call with a client. Maria had just finished polishing the marble floor near the lift entrance. A yellow, wet floor sign stood nearby. Without looking down, Ethan stepped right onto the damp surface and nearly slipped. He caught himself, then spun around in anger. "Can't you do this later?" he snapped loudly. The lobby went quiet. Maria lowered her eyes. "I'm sorry, sir, I was just finishing." Ethan let out a dry laugh. "Maybe try thinking next time." A few people looked uncomfortable, but nobody said anything. Maria simply nodded and moved her cart aside. That should have been the end of it. But for Ethan, it became a habit. He made little comments whenever he saw her. "Still here? You people always manage to be in the way. Must be nice not having real deadlines." Each remark was small enough to escape formal complaint, but sharp enough to leave a mark. Maria never argued, never defended herself, never even changed her expression. That silence irritated Ethan more than any response ever could. Weeks passed. Then came the announcement everyone in the building had been waiting for. The owner of Western Heights, a mysterious investor who rarely appeared in public, was finally visiting the property in person. Senior staff were told to prepare for a major inspection and a private meeting. Rumour spread fast. Some said the owner was part of an old money family. Others claimed it was a foreign business giant. A few whispered that the owner was planning to replace half the executive team. Ethan saw it as an opportunity. If he impressed the owner, his next promotion could be guaranteed. The whole building buzzed with tension that week. Floors were spotless. Receptionists stood straighter. Managers rehearsed speeches. Even the cafe downstairs replaced its usual playlist with soft piano music. On Friday morning, Ethan arrived earlier than usual. He wore his best navy suit, his most expensive watch, and the expression of a man ready to be noticed. As he crossed the lobby, he saw Maria near the entrance, dusting the side table beside the waiting area. He smirked. "Big day today," he said. "Try not to embarrass the building." Maria looked at him for a moment, then gave a small, polite nod. "I hope your day goes well, Mr. Cole." Ethan didn't reply. He walked straight to the executive conference room on the top floor. Inside, senior managers had already gathered. There was bottled water on the table, printed briefing packs, and a nervous energy in the air. The regional director leaned toward Ethan and whispered, "Owner should be here any minute. Be sharp." Ethan sat taller. The door opened. Everyone stood. But instead of some billionaire in a designer suit, the person who stepped into the room was someone Ethan recognized instantly. It was Maria. Not in her cleaning uniform. She wore a tailored cream blazer, elegant jewelry, and carried herself with quiet confidence. Behind her walked two legal advisors and the regional director, whose face had suddenly turned very serious. For a moment, Ethan thought this had to be some mistake.
No one spoke. Maria looked around the room calmly, then took the seat at the head of the table. "You may sit," she said. The room obeyed. Ethan's throat went dry. The director cleared his voice. "Everyone, I'd like to formally introduce Ms. Maria Alvarez, principal owner of Western Heights Holdings." The words hit Ethan like cold water. Owner? Principal owner? He stared in disbelief. Maria folded her hands on the table. "For the past 8 months," she said, "I have spent time in this building without announcement, not as a visitor, not as an executive, but as a cleaner." No one moved.
"I wanted to see the culture of this building with my own eyes. Not the version prepared for reports, not the version hidden behind presentation slides. The real one." She looked around the room. How people treat each other when they think no one important is watching tells me far more than numbers ever will. Ethan felt a sudden pounding in his chest. Maria continued, calm and composed. "I have seen kindness here, quiet professionalism, respect from many people whose names may never appear on company headlines, reception staff who help visitors with patience, junior employees who stay late without complaint, security staff who treat everyone with dignity." Then she paused. "But I have also seen arrogance." The silence deepened. Disrespect, condescension, and the dangerous belief that someone's worth is measured by their job title. Ethan wanted to disappear. Maria opened a slim folder in front of her. "Mr. Ethan Cole." His name landed heavily in the room. He slowly looked up. "I remember every word you said to me." No anger, no shouting. Somehow that made it worse. "You mocked me repeatedly, dismissed me publicly, assumed that because I cleaned the floors beneath your shoes, I was beneath you." Ethan's mouth opened, but no words came out. Maria held his gaze. "I am not offended because I own this building. I am disappointed because you would have treated any cleaner that way." Nobody in the room dared look at him. Finally, Ethan spoke, his voice unsteady. "Miss Alvarez, I didn't know." Maria replied immediately. "That is the point." The words cut deeper than any insult. She composed the folder. "Leadership is not tested by how you treat clients, board members, or investors. It is tested by how you treat people who can do nothing for your career." Ethan was down at the table, shame burning through every bit of confidence he once had. He had spent years building an image of success, yet in a single moment it collapsed under the weight of who he had really been. The meeting continued, but Ethan barely heard any of it. New policies were announced, staff culture reviews, a leadership audit, anonymous workplace reporting, training across all departments. Maria spoke about respect, standards, and building a company where every person mattered. Not once did she raise her voice. She didn't need to. By the end of the meeting, Ethan knew his promotion was gone. More than that, he knew something else had been exposed. Something far worse than professional failure. His character. Later that afternoon, he found Maria alone in the rooftop garden area overlooking the city skyline. The wind moved lightly through the plants around the terrace. He approached slowly. Miss Alvarez? She turned. For the first time, Ethan had no polished speech, no confident posture, no promotion. I'm sorry, Hu said quietly. Not because of today. Because of all of it. More who's something. He composed hard. You were right. I spoke to you horribly. And you're honest. I'm worth about it because I didn't think it mattered. I thought position was everything. I thought being important meant acting important. Maria studied him. And now? Ethan looked over the skyline. Now I think I've probably been small for a very long time and cross-acting. That about her pause. For the first time, her expression softened slightly. People reveal themselves in comfort, she said. But they can also change in humility. He nodded slowly. I don't expect you to fix this for me. I can't, Maria said. That part is yours. In the months that followed, a lot changed at Western Heights. Ethan was removed from team leadership and placed under review. Many whose standards he would refuse. But you studied. Not because it was easy, because leaving would have let him escape what you designed to face. For the first time in his life, he started listening more than speaking. He apologized privately to staff he had dismissed. He thanked the people he had refused. He spoke chasing attention and stressed the quiet work of becoming better. It was experts across. Some people didn't trust their worth. Respect once broken does not you're sorry. It returns through consistency. Over time, Ethan looking that real leadership had little to do with being the loudest person in the words. It was yourself, responsibility, restraint, and your for new. Are still composed, still worthened, still often across the building without acting, except now, more people noticed her, not because she owned the border, but because they front about the kind of strength that doesn't need to announce itself. And years later, when your guests joined Western Heights, they were doing a story that each becomes almost legendary in the company. As your thought success beneath words. And the cleaner who showed everyone that character is the real position of power. Because at the end of the day, titles can open doors. Money can buy buildings. But the way you treat people, that is what truly defines who you are.